What did you learn too late in life? Take care of your teeth. Seriously. Also, don't care about someone's opinion of you unless you know and value their opinion, or they're an expert. If a chef says your food is bad, maybe consider it to improve yourself, but most people have no clue. It's okay to be wrong. When I was younger, I refused to be wrong. I was one of those stupid people who kept arguing even after I was proven wrong. I have also hated being a beginner at anything. I didn't want to try stuff unless I would be good immediately. There is no correct way to act to appease everyone. No matter what you do, you will meet someone else who dislikes it. Be yourself, otherwise you will be like a leaf blown in the wind, forever trying to change to win people's approval. People who think it's bad advice to be yourself are missing the point. You might be able to appease more people by changing, but if you be yourself, and you'll make much better friends. Quality over quantity. People who just left and started a new life, what was it like? It was the best thing I've ever done. I moved from New York to Arizona. It was tough at first trying to get established, and when I did, the pandemic started. Still, it's easier to do than most people think. Most people fear the unknown and the change, but I'm happier than I've ever been. I have a really good paying job. I live with beautiful views of mountains and warm weather. It's very refreshing and a dream come true. I did this last year. I stayed in the same state, but it was terrifying and exciting all rolled into one. I quit my job without having another one. Sold my house without having a home. Packed everything my son and I owned and moved 3 hours away. Best decision ever. It made me feel like I could do it again if I ever wanted to. The world is so big, so it was empowering. I grew up around farms in the same place for 31 years and moved to the city. 3 hours away may not seem like much, but it was a huge change. A year ago, me and my partner were addicted to drugs, living in a little room, depressed with no motivation, so we just left. Today we are clean and in our own place in the country with steady jobs. I have never been happier. What's the most expensive thing you have ever broken? I saw a woman drop a vase at one of my auctions that she paid over $10,000 for. You would have thought someone gutted her with the scream she let out. That was a sad day for her. When I was a teenager, I dropped a nickel onto the escalator at the mall. It had landed perfectly into the groove and was rolling in place as the stairs folded into the bottom. I stood there watching it for a minute. Then it got caught under the lip of one of the folding steps, forcing it down with it. There was a loud noise, the escalator stopped moving, and the green light underneath shut off. A few days later, they still had the thing shut off. 2 guys were there taking it apart to fix it. I have no idea if it caused real damage or if they were just having trouble figuring it out, but I'm sure the cost alone was probably higher than anything I've owned. $1 million meat injector at a packing plant. It wasn't entirely my fault, but a metal clipboard ended up on a running conveyor that I was using and completely destroyed the machine for a while. What are some facts that can save someone's life? The symptoms of a heart attack are slightly different for men and women. This is one of the reasons women sometimes get diagnosed too late. Women can have extreme fatigue and faint, or get lightheaded and dizzy. Men tend to have a cold sweat and nausea, and everyone can experience chest pressure and pain, shortness of breath, and pain in arms and the surrounding area. If you ever find yourself in a vehicle in water, roll the windows down immediately and get out right away. If you leave them up, the pressure of the water outside your car will make opening the doors impossible. The battery may quickly short out, so the window option will go away. Breaking those windows isn't easy without the right tool. Also, an open window will at least equalize the pressure so you can open the door easily. If you need to break a window, try to use the metal end of a headrest, your seatbelt buckle, or anything else sharp you might have on hand, but that should not be the first choice. What's an outdated fact that you were taught in school? The food pyramid encouraging you to eat tons of carbs, and the 4 basic food groups, which were just posters sponsored by the Dairy Association. Even now, the dairy industry has a chokehold on schools. It's actually required for public schools to serve dairy milk in order to receive federal funding. It's all because of companies lobbying, of course, certainly not because of health. It's funny to think how much easier it was to be wrong before everything was an internet search away. I was taught that Mercury was the hottest planet. A student corrected them, laying out everything about Venus's atmosphere. That you can see the Great Wall of China from space. This was always a weird one. It's long, but it's not that wide. If you could see it from space, surely you'd be able to see roads and regular buildings in cities. What is something common that you have never experienced? I didn't touch a pineapple until after I turned 18. I had a dream that I murdered someone with a pineapple, realized I've never actually touched one, so I went to the store and touched it. I live a very exciting life. I've never been in a fight. Don't get me wrong, that's a good thing. I have a recurring dream occasionally where I punch someone and it goes in slow motion, barely taps their face, and they laugh. I've never experienced color. I don't ordinarily think about it, but when somebody points out a color, I get really sad thinking of what I'm missing out on. Friendship. I'm 32 and I have no idea how to make friends. I'm horrible at reading social cues and have wicked anxiety. The only person even close to being a friend is my ex, and I can't exactly ask him for advice on meeting people. What would you wish on your worst enemy? A life of financial hardship, hard drugs, and a slow decay into a husk of a human. Aside from Alzheimer's and dementia, it is the worst possible fate imaginable, and something most of my enemies are well on their way to becoming. The slow gradual rot that consumes you a little more every day, where your mind is stuck in a constant high, unable to function without your next hit. Being so mentally broken and socially stagnant for so long that you are unable to realize the problem. Where you have no real friends, only people you hang out with. The life where you will die alone, and no one will be looking for you. People look down on you, and you're too mentally absent out to realize it. Where you stand on the street begging and selling used magazines, with a forced smile on your face. Where you shift around living off couches and borrowing off those around you. I wish to see them reduced into nothing more than a modern zombie. What did you not understand as a child? I got a couple of plastic crabs in a Christmas cracker one year when I was about 5. I went up to my mom and said, "Look, I got crabs." She burst out laughing, so I went and said the same to almost everyone there. I knew I was making them laugh, but didn't know why. In grade 3, I went to a good friend's house for a sleepover. Always loved going there, as I could do all the things I couldn't do at home. Nothing crazy, just eat and drink junk food, and stay up late. We ended up watching Austin Powers, and we got obsessed with it. We later ended up doing a talent show musical number themed after the movie, and I don't think the staff were too impressed. The next day I tell my mom what we did, and she was horrified that their parents let us watch Austin Powers, and I couldn't understand why. I missed every sexual joke in the film and only realized many years later what shagadelic meant. What's something that was secretly great about the pandemic? I got to spend a lot more time with aging pets. I had to put down a cat this fall, but for 7 months he got to lay on my keyboard and interrupt Zoom calls all day. I also have a 12-year-old dog, and spending this year with her all day every day has been awesome. I am a recovering alcoholic. Spending most of my time at home exploring my hobbies, attending virtual counseling, and rebuilding relationships with my loved ones has helped me to realize that no substance could replace this feeling of contentment. I honestly never want to give up what I have now. In 4 weeks, I will be celebrating my 2-year sobriety anniversary. The grass has never seemed greener. Without a social life, I've been forced to focus on myself instead of other people. I've cut down on my drinking, lost 35 pounds, and started seeing a therapist. Here's hoping I come out of this in better physical and mental shape than I went in. What are your biggest dating regrets from your 20s? Staying too long in that one wrong relationship. I knew it wasn't made to last halfway through. What a bunch of wasted time. Also giving people chances just because they're nice. If the spark isn't there, it isn't there. Sacrificing too much time with friends to spend time dating. My significant others are gone now. My friends are still around, and I hope they'll always be around. I could have made so many more memories with them. Giving a cheater a second chance. Never again. Cheat once and I'm gone for good. Don't even want to hear apology. Also sleeping with someone on a first date. Had 2 experiences that led to sexual assault. I spent way too much time going on bad dates with bad people just because I felt like I should, and because I was so insecure that I believed I didn't deserve better. I think I would have been happier staying at home or spending time with friends.